Hello there, today I'm going to talk about mathematical or numeric functions in MySQL. So the first function is ABS, which is known as absolute function, which always return the positive value of a number. Whether it's negative, always return the positive. And for 0 or positive number, there has no effect. So let's see in practically how does it work. So I'll go to the MySQL workbench. I've already copied that syntax. So if I like to run this query now, so it's going to return always all this minus is also positive. So let's execute this. Command enter. So now you could see here the first one also positive, 0 is 0, and positive positive. There is no effect. So absolute always return the positive value. So okay, go to the next function, which is round. This is a very important one. Suppose you want to round up to some decimal point. Suppose it's related to money related. Suppose you have so many decimal point, you want to round up. So you can do up to the first decimal point. The syntax is round, the number, and the decimal, up to what decimal point you want to round up. You could see it here. This is the syntax. And you could see the first one is round up to the first decimal point. So basically the answer is 25.5. And it's the second one is up to the second decimal point. So its answer is 25.52. Same way as 0, it's going to round up. And if there is no decimal point, still it's going to round up. And if it's a negative, then the digit from the left decimal point number n becomes 0. So it's minus 2. So this 2 and 1 is going to be 0. So the answer will be 100. So let's execute this, the round function, all these examples in MySQL workbench. So this is the one. So I'm going to execute all this syntax at a time. So what is the syntax for that? That's correct. It's command shift enter. So now you could see here, first one, the answer is up to the first decimal point, the answer is 25.5. Then second one of the two decimal point, 25.52. Then second one of the 0, answer is 26. Then our next one is up to there is no decimal point, the answer is 26. And the last one is a minus, so it's from the left hand side. The first one is 1, then 0 and 0. So you could see 100, the answer is here. So next function is the truncate one. The truncate basically what does do? It will truncate the number certain decimal points. So the syntax is truncate the number and the decimal point. So for example, the first one is 1.555 comma first decimal point. So it's going to fetch the value up to the first decimal point. So the answer is 1.5. Same if it will be 2, it's going to fetch 1.55. And if it's minus, then again same as the previous. It's going to go to the left hand side, so it should be 1 0 0. And so what is the difference between truncate and the round? So if you truncate the same number 1.999 to the one decimal point, the answer would be 1.9. But for a round, if you do 1.999 and if I do the first decimal point, it's going to round up because 1.9 is approximately equal to 2, so it's going to do 2.0. So let's run all these examples in MySQL workbench and see if it's working as expected. Now all this syntax are there. Again, I'm going to select all this and I'm going to execute command shift enter. So now you could see first one is 1.5. It's because it went up to the first decimal point. So truncated up to that. So if I give the 2 here and if I execute this one more time, command enter. So you see up to 1.55, up to 2 decimal point. So let me execute all remaining syntax at a time. So the command shift enter. So now the second one, you could see the negative one, which is again from the left hand side it will start 1 0 0. This is 100, that's correct. Okay, here I need to put select. And here is the semicolon. So let me execute again all this, command shift enter. So first one already verified 1.55, then second one is 100 we have verified, then the third one which is the truncate, again 1.9 up to the first decimal point 1.9, so but if I need to round 1.9 up to the first decimal point is 2.0. So this is the difference between round and truncate. Next function is called the ceiling function. It's going to return the smallest integer which is greater than or equal to that number. So suppose now see an example. So the syntax is you can do CEIL or ceiling then numeric expression. So here select CEIL 4.39 which is going to return equal to or greater than to that number. So it's going to return 5 because 5 greater than 4.39. Same way as it's minus 12.59 is going to return minus 12 because minus 12 is greater than minus 12.59. So let's execute both this in MySQL Workbench. So you can see I'm using both ceiling and CEIL. So you see in the syntax here also it's a synonyms. Either you can use ceiling or CEIL. Either of these functions should work. So again, select all, Command Shift Enter. So first one you could see the answer is 5 because it's number which is 5 which is greater than 4.39. Same way the second answer is minus 12 because minus 12 is greater than minus 12.59. So this is about ceiling. Next, move to the next function. So next function is floor. Floor is basically opposite of ceiling. So what does it do? It's going to return the largest integer less than or equal to the argument. So if you say 4.39, it's going to return 4 because 4 is less than 4.39. Same way, it's going to return minus 12.59, it's going to return minus 13 because minus 13 is less than minus 12.59. So let's run this in MySQL Workbench and see if it's working as expected. And select all, Command Shift Enter. So now you could see first one is 4.39 is going to return 4 and second one is minus 13. Next function is the random function. It returns a random floating point value if you just put random and the random this function. But if you want to use some value inside this, like you want to seed any value, so it's going to return the same value each time. So let's execute and see if it works as expected. And select all. So first let's run this one. Let's run one by one. So if I execute this is the number, right? Now if I re-execute this one more time, it's ending with 799. If I execute again, it will give the another number. You could see. So I'm doing. You could see it here. I'm executing the same function. Select random, right? So if I execute one more time, it could see a different number. If I execute one more time, it's a different number. So it's always give the different numbers. So now, but if I execute this one, line number 4, it was always going to give the same number. So you can see ending with 6346. Now if I execute again, is giving 6346, and again if I execute 6346, again if I am executing is giving 6346, ending with 6346. So it's give always the same value each time. So next function is the pi. So pi basically is going to return the we know the value is 3.141. So if I execute this, and it's going to return this value. And power is basically it returns the argument raise a specified power. Either synonyms, you can use the power or you can use the power, P or W. Either of these should work. So power of 4.2 is 4 into 4 is 16. Like 3.4, so it is 4 times, like 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. So 3 into 3 into 3 into 3, so 81. And same with the square root. Square root function is the square root of a number. So basically 121 is 11. If you give 64, it should return as 8. So let's run all this in MySQL Workbench. Let's see if it's working as expected. If I execute pi, equals to 3.141. If I run the power, 4 to the power 16. If I give 3, is 64. If I give 2 to the power 3, we're going to 8. 2 into 2 into 2. Two function names has been used. One is power and power. Either of this you can use. So if I execute this one, also it's going to work. So 3 is 81. Next is the square root. So 121, if I execute this, is 11. So if I change to this one to maybe 81. So 81, it should come as 9. So 9. If I change to 64, it should come as 8. So you could see it here. So square root function. So these are the trigonometry functions like sine, sin, arcsine, cos, cosine, then arccosine, then tan, tangent, and cotangent. So it's going to return this value. So if you enter, the value should be range should be -1. When you put the arcsine, the range always should be, the numbers range should be -1 to +1. Otherwise it's going to return the null value. So let's see those. Sine of 2, this is the number, and if I do arcsine of 0.2, and because 0.2 is between -1 and +1, so if I give 2 here, it's going to give the answer as a null. You could see here the answer is null. So this one should be always between -1 to +1. So if I give 0.9, it should work. Cool. Same with the cos, and if I execute this, it will give the value. Then at sign of this is going to give the value. Again, if I give 3, it is going to give null, because always this number should be -1 to +1. You see it's a null. Then the tangent of this, so if I execute this, it will give the tangent of this. Cotangent of this number, you can execute like this. So this is all about mathematical function or numeric function in MySQL. If this video is useful to you, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. It means a lot to me. Thank you. Namaste. Please subscribe.